Maddie here. Thank you for coming back for another week, another book here on my channel. And if you're new here, welcome. We love all. This week we're talking about Beastly by Alex Flinn. For those of you that don't know, which a lot of y'all probably don't, my personal favorite fairy tale is Beauty and the Beast. It has been for a really long time. I think part of why I love it is just we did a flower for the roses in Beauty and the Beast, even though it's kind of giving me a little like flippy tail. That's fine. So Beauty and the Beast is my favorite fairy tale. And I think, honestly, there are two big parts that are like basically have nothing to do with the story, but make me love it. One, it's French, and I love France and French things. So I think that's point A. B is the library. I think just I love the library so much, and the fact that Belle's a reader makes me love her and made me love the story so much. Because now that I think about it, I would need to find like the original fairy tale. And is she even a reader in the original fairy tale, or is that something they added in like the Disney version? I don't actually know. Whatever is true, we love Beauty and the Beast, and we love retellings. Beauty and the Beast is a really hard fairy tale to do retellings of. I've already done past videos of Cinderella retellings because there's like a million of them. I've done even like Pride and Prejudice retellings because there's a million of them. There aren't as many Beauty and the Beast retellings. Beastly is one of them. Another actually really, really good one is, hang on, I want to actually say it because I haven't written a blog on it. So there's another version called Bookish and the Beast by Ashley Poston, who does Geekerella that I really love. Bookish and the Beast. I'll do a blog on it because we are nearing the end of my blogs that don't have videos. We're getting to the very last few. So pretty soon, every video will also have a brand new blog with it. We're not quite there, but we're getting there sooner than I would like. But anyways, Bookish and the Beast is another good retelling. We'll do a video on it eventually. This week, we're talking about Beastly. I read this book. I'm pretty sure I read it for the first time in high school. I am fairly certain I was recommended it and stole it off of my cousin's shelves because there's actually a lot of overlap, especially growing up. There was a lot of overlap in books that we all read. So we would go to their house and I would just take books off their shelves and read them when we'd go over there because we'd stay for like, days at a time. And I'm pretty sure Beastly is one of those. Before we start talking about this, let's read the synopsis like smart people. I am a beast. A beast, not quite wolf or gorilla or dog, but a horrible new creature with fangs, claws, and hair springing from every pore. I am a walking monster. You think I'm talking fairy tales? No way. This place is New York City. The time is now, and I'll stay this way forever, unless I can break the spell. Yes, the spell. The one the witch in my English class cast on me. Why did she turn me into a beast who hides by day and prowls by night? I'll tell you. I'll tell you how I used to be Kyle Kingsbury. The guy you wished you were. The money, the perfect looks, the perfect girl, and the perfect life. And then I'll tell you how I became perfectly beastly. Modern day set in New York, really snobby prep school, and the main guy is our beast because he has to lose his kingdom, right? And this book is so good. It's a very good retelling for modern times because the biggest issue with taking Beauty and the Beast and trying to do like a modern retelling is how do you create a beast? One, and then two, how do you create like an empty castle kind of setting? That can be really hard without it being just like super creepy and like all modern women would be like, no, and it just would not happen. So how do you do that? He does become very beast-like. He gets the hair, the fur all over him, and his father is super rich. And so he kind of gets just sequestered. There's not much to give away because it is a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, which is a story most people know. But I don't want to give too much away about the specifics of this book because it is a very good book. And I want you to kind of get to experience this retelling for yourself because there aren't many good retellings. He helps save a girl kind of against her will, which is like kind of how Belle is. She needs to be taken out of her town because she's not appreciated, I guess, as she should be. It's very similar, her dad's involved, not really a life for a life, but kind of life for a life, It's a really good book. It's a very good retelling. Like I said, the story, but I also don't want to give anything away. The kind of bulk of my blog and the bulk of what I want to talk about is there's actually a movie adaptation of this book. It's very, very good. There are a couple of things I don't like about it. There's a couple things that are changed that I don't care, and there are a couple things that changed that I don't like. So let's talk about both. One, this movie stars Alex Pettyfer and Vanessa Hudgens. It's pretty good casting. The only issue with Vanessa Hudgens is the Lindy has red hair. That's the only real issue with the Vanessa Hudgens casting. I don't know why it bugs me so much, but it does. I don't know if I've gone on this rant on like people in my life. I don't know if I've ever done it on camera before. I am all up for interpretation of books in terms of like looks and settings and things like that, because the author can only explain so much. But when an author gives you very specific details, even like repetitive details of how somebody looks or how something looks, and they don't do that in movies or TV shows or however they adapt it, makes me so annoyed. Makes me so annoyed. Because it's like, if it's a vague, it's like the thing with her is like, she just has red hair. It doesn't actually affect anything. It's not a super repetitive detail, which is why it's a thing that annoys me, but I can very easily get over it. But there is a book series where in one of the books, one of the main characters is repeatedly over and over and over and over and over again compared to a super famous Hollywood actor from like the 50s or something with very specific looks. And over in this book, he's compared to this person. And in the movie adaptation, he is the literal opposite. And I'm just like, if they had described him once, like I said, with the red hair, I can get over it. I can totally get over it. But when you, throughout the entire book, every single person basically references this actor as that's what he looks like, and then you do the opposite, that makes me annoyed. It's like the book told you exactly what he looks like, and you chose not to do that. That annoys me. This book, it doesn't, like I said, it's a thing I feel the need to point out, but it doesn't actually affect anything. That's where we're starting, is you got Alex Pettyfer and Vanessa Hudgens, who, like, that's great. We love them. Things about the book. There are two main things I didn't like about the movie that are in the book. I list 3 things here. The first one being the appearance, because I forgot that also in the movie, he doesn't get hairy. He gets almost like scarred and marred and like tattooed and crap. He gets, just covered with kind of like lots of physical imperfections on his skin. Not quite like a burns. Not like, there are some areas that maybe look like they're burns, but he has lots of like kind of deep etching and things in his skin. And it's honestly very fascinating. I understand why you would call it like grotesque and like why you wouldn't want to look that way, but it's very fascinating and very, very interesting. So that was my first kind of thing I didn't like about the movie that is in the book. The second mean more to me because they affect the story. The first one is, in the book, he gets 2 years and not 1. In the movie, he has only 1 year. In the book, he gets 2 years. Maybe this shouldn't annoy me as much as it does, but the story opens up, and what is happening is he invited the witch from his English class. He doesn't know she's a witch. He invites her to like prom or homecoming or whatever, and he has a corsage. And obviously he stands her up and is like, no one would ever want to go with you, and that's how he gets cursed. But throughout the evening prior to like the cursing, is 2 petals fall off of the corsage, and as they fall off, he puts them in his pocket, and she's like the petals in your pocket, you have 2 years to, And so that just like, for me, felt really, really powerful, being like, there's this foreshadowing of these petals coming off this corsage to be like, that's how much time that you get. So you don't get that in the movie, and that just kind of annoyed me because it felt so profound in the book. And then the thing that really annoys me, that again, maybe it shouldn't, it just does, is that he builds a greenhouse. In both the book and the movie, he builds a greenhouse. The difference is, in the book, he does it for himself because he's seeking beauty. He's seeking, something to balance out what he feels like, kind of like the grossness he's brought to the world. He's trying to balance that out with beauty, and he becomes really obsessed with like flowers and their meanings and things like that. And he builds a greenhouse and he fills it up with all these flowers. In the movie, he builds the greenhouse for the girl. And like, that's really sweet and that's great. But it's less profound because he's just doing it to kind of get on her good side and bring her joy, which is like great. But I love that in the book, it's for himself because he is aching for something better and more, and to be better and more. And so I really like that in the book. And in the movie, they just they shortchange the main character a little bit because I feel like he goes through a bigger transformation in the book than he does in the movie. But also like, one, he has more time, and just writing is easier than showing on a screen in a 2-hour window. So those were kind of like my big things from book to movie that I didn't like, but also in the grand scheme of it, they don't change the story. It is a pretty good 1-to-1 book to movie adaptation. On top of that, you get a couple of really great things in the movie. The couple of really good things in the movie is, one, I already talked about the casting, Alex Pettyfer and Vanessa Hudgens, but you also get Neil Patrick Harris, and it's hilarious and fantastic. So like, the casting is awesome. Number 2, it has an amazing soundtrack. One of my things, I love soundtracks because I love that you can get a whole story without actually like watching or reading something. And it has an excellent, excellent, excellent soundtrack. So like, watch the movie, listen to the music. It's amazing. I love it. Third, I don't know why, but there's a quote from this movie that doesn't really have to do with the main story at all, but I love it and it sticks with me. And so Kyle, right? Kyle Kingsbury, he's been kind of sequestered into this big house that his dad has put him in, and he has a tutor and like a housekeeper. And in the movie, they have their own things. They have their own things in the book, but I don't remember if it's the exact same things. In the movie, Kyle is kind of complaining or lamenting just his life and his relationship with his dad and things like that. And his housekeeper, she says, parents do what they can with what they know. Kind of saying, they're just doing their best. And that quote has stuck with me since it came out in high school. It came out when I was in high school. The movie came out when I was in high school. And that quote just like sticks with me just as a reminder of like, not just parents, but like people are doing the best they can with what they know. Rarely are people being malicious to be malicious. We're all just doing the best we can. And that quote just really sticks with me, especially as now I've gotten older and even hopefully getting closer to having kids. It's like, I know I'm going to have so many moments of feeling like a failure, and it's like going to be a good reminder to parents do what they can with what they know. That quote has basically nothing to do with the actual story. I've always loved that quote, and it's always it's stuck with me from the second that I've heard it till now. Those are kind of just the things I wanted to say because we love a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and there's not many of them. It's also a really good movie. It's a fun movie. It has a great soundtrack. It's a really good cast. 10 out of 10. Would recommend. I hope you will read it, enjoy it. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I always want to hear y'all's thoughts and opinions on what I talk about, or thoughts about what you would like me to talk about, or anything you just want to say. I want to hear it. I hope that you will read this and let me know your thoughts, feelings, and opinions. And with all of that, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Hope you have a great night, great week, great weekend, great month, great year. I hope you have all the greats because you're truly worthy and deserving of them. So until next time, 再见. Bye.